Welcome to the channel. This is Go Gretty, and welcome to the 2023 Gran Turismo World Series Exhibition Season 4, round number 2 tonight. We are at Daytona running the infield in this 21-lap race that starts at night and rolls into day. And I got to tell you, the racing out there got pretty intense. So stick around, check it out. All right, again, lobby opens up. Looks like a good lobby for us. Looks like a nice second split lobby, which is perfect. Gives us an opportunity to make some points there. You see a 351-point second split lobby. That is outstanding. That is a solid, strong second split. So, again, got to set that good qualifying time. A first lap out of 46.977. Was really displeased with that as I was putting in about 0.2 faster laps in practice, somewhere around a 46.5 to a 46.7 is what I was doing in my qualifying in practice. Probably just a little bit nervous. You saw I broke a little early there going into turn 1. Here, trying to brake and then pull it in tight. Don't go too wide through there. Just add distance, wasting time, and power out of the corner as early as possible. Sometimes we're going to get a little squirrely on you. Here you go. Keep it to the left. Going to brake right about halfway, and then put it down in second gear in the Alfa Romeo, which is what I am in. And then again, throttle out, coming out the corner, trying to apply that throttle as early as possible. Sometimes it feels like you're not going to make it there. Just braking at the skid mark in the middle of the driveway there. Then again, rolling in that throttle as soon as you can. It'll drive you out towards the wall if you hit it right. If you feel like you're in complete control, you're probably not going fast enough around Daytona. So you got to feel just a little bit uncomfortable to know that you're really hitting your marks and moving pretty quick. And unfortunately, I was feeling a little bit too comfortable on this lap. So here I'm going to brake between the board up on the right and the one board and going to go into fourth. The Alfa a little sketchy through the chicane, not a lot of weight on the front end of the car, so it didn't really want to turn in on exit being an MR car. And I couldn't quite work out how to get a really fast exit coming out of the chicane. So best I could do there was, going to fourth, and when I drop it down to third, it would shift a little weight towards the front of the car. So I seem to like the way that worked. Watched Hellfire later on. He actually kept it in fourth through there, so maybe I should have tried that. But I didn't, so oh well. We end up crossing the line here with a 146.7, and that shows me in P7, but I will actually drop towards P10. No real strategy in this race. It's hard tires. You don't need to stop and change them. Also, fuel. You don't need to stop and get fuel. If you do, it's going to be too slow, but you will have to save a little bit, and how much you have to save depends on your car and how hard you drive it, how well you do in the slipstream. So let's get on the race and see exactly how well everyone did do. We get the countdown. Race starts here at the Daytona International Speedway. Running that infield course, 21 laps, long race. And here we are in corner 1. Well, some folks try to win it here as Yanis comes flying down around the outside, braking late there. Not really necessary. He just needed to slip right in behind on my back bumper there. But now he's got Blaze to the inside, and they are side by side as they head down to the quarters. Looks like Blaze gets a little bit better of Yanis through that section. I just want to stay in touch with the group in front of me. Not really interested in making any passes here. Looking for folks to make mistakes. Trying to pick up a few free Gretty passes here at the start of the race. That's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed that I might be able to get a couple. No need to bang on the back of the cars just yet in front of me. Everyone's just super close together. Even if you do pass up someone faster than you, most likely, they're just going to pass you right back up anyway. So there's really no point in trying to send it on someone right here at the very beginning of the race. You got plenty of time to sort it out, and, well, by gosh, if you're faster, it is definitely going to show up in the end of this race. As you can see, look at Spartan Velocity there. All the way out front. You can see how big of a gap he's pulled on the field. The rest of the field just trying to hang on to that slipstream as we head down into the chicane here on the long loop at Daytona. Gonna get on the brakes here just before the one board, trying to keep the car nice and under control. Cold, hard tires, full fuel load in the Alfa, which doesn't really like that chicane anyway. So I have a bit of a poor exit right there, but not to worry too much. I'm still well within the slipstream of Outlaw Quadra, and the Alfa has pretty decent legs, especially against some of the lesser cars here on the back stretch at Daytona. So I'm pulling on Outlaw pretty good. Plus, Blaze gave me a bump draft there, so I'm really flying up on the back of Outlaw quadrant. So I'm just going to lift here, let it coast, going to get on the brakes nice, and get nailed from behind, get pushed in deep. I'm smashing the brake pedal, trying to keep from hitting Outlaw quadrant. Touch his rear quarter panel. That opens up the inside to Blaze, and I'm a little aggravated there. It's only lap 2, and I don't really know why it's necessary to smash into someone from behind there, going into corner 1, when you can just basically ease into it and just stay right on the rear bumper. So if we look at that again, what you'll see is that just as I touch the brakes, I get a little bit of a bump from Blaze, which backs him up, and then Yanis, who's coming in hot, hits Blaze pretty hard back into me, so a good bit of Constantine effect there. Regardless, I am the recipient of getting driven wide in turn 1, and that makes me a bit aggravated. But I don't know exactly what happened, and in the race, while I was aggravated, I was like, well, I have no idea what the heck was going on behind me. I am alive. I am still an Outlaw quadrant slipstream, so I will just continue to save tires and save fuel and get ready for the second half of the race, where everything seems to really get sorted out as the folks start to get a little further apart from one another, and the cream really begins to kind of rise to the top. Those with the faster cars will start to chase down those with the not so fast cars, and the fuel strategies will start to really play out. But then as we enter the chicane, I get hit from behind again, causing me to go wide, which causes me to get a half-second penalty. And now I am truly irate. So watch this again, hit going into the chicane, get hit in the middle of the chicane, get driven wide, and then, well, Yanis just drives on out like it wasn't his fault. Now, in my humble opinion, he should have given up that position. However, not only should he have given up that position, well, I got a half-second penalty here. So, made it really tough for me, and I was really aggravated. So I went to swerve to let him know I was aggravated with it right before the penalty zone. And, well, I went a little too far, came back on, and I hit Blaze. So, also caused myself to get another half-second penalty by crossing the line. So, total boneheaded move there by yours truly, and I am willing to admit that that was a boneheaded move by yours truly. So, recipient of a penalty, and then I do get a Gretty pass, so make up a position back. So I went from 15th back up to 14th, as you see here in corner 1. Patrick goes right into the rear quarter panel of Cantilever and, well, murders him. So real tough luck there for Cantilever, who was sitting in 3rd in the Supra. Well, he was in really good position there. He's had a 4 GT in front of him, so probably could have got some really nice points out of this race. Unfortunate for him. Now, I'm having to stay on as close as I can to this group in front of me, because I'm going to have to serve this half-second penalty. And when I do so, I'm going to drop out of the slipstream, so I can't really afford to get too far off them. After I serve the penalty, you see that I drop back to 1.4 seconds back. Now I got to put the old head down and try and catch the group in front. But before that, you'll notice I had picked up a position to number 11, and what happened here was Trollo, I can't pronounce his name, the 4C driver, gets into the rear quarter panel of Patrick. You know, the one that got into the rear quarter panel of Cantilever. So, a little racing karma there. And that looked, well, quite honestly, pretty deliberate. I don't know how else you could explain that. It just looked deliberate and dirty. That's what it looked like. Maybe there's some bad blood there. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But it looked pretty deliberate. So we look down at my fuel. I got 17.3 laps worth of fuel left, and I probably got about 17.8 laps of racing left. So not only do I need to catch back up to this group, which I am now in the slipstream here on the lap number 4, I also need to save a little bit of fuel. I'd like to get ahead on my fuel so I can race hard at the second half of the race and not so hard in the front half of the race, because, well, all it's going to do is, you know, everyone's a little bit closer together right here, and it's going to usually cause you to have to back off on your pace at the end of the race, and then people start passing you. So I'd rather be the person passing than getting passed. So I decided to hook up here with Equus Ferrum in the Corvette and ride his rear bumper for a little while as we try and catch back up to Blaze, who is flying along there in that McLaren in front of us. Equus gives me the old caution lights to say thank you. So bump drafted Equus a little bit through there, and then Yanis catches back up to us, and he gives me a bump draft. So we do the double bump draft. Look at that. That's a triple bump draft. Triple bump draft, which will help us catch back up to Blaze and the group in front of us. And, well, honestly, right here, I'm trying to save fuel. Getting the 6th gear nice and early. Try and put a little more fuel aboard. As you see, I crossed the line there with 15 laps of fuel, so I've gotten ahead on my fuel now. Get another little bump trap there from Yanis on lap number 7. And I've got a really, really good run on Equus. I'm like, well, it's about time to make this move, as I'm not probably going to get a run like this anytime soon. So I decided to go on by Equus and do so quite easily. So it was a good choice there. Yanis stayed right behind me as we got into the braking zone. I got to say, I was a little bit nervous, and I did get a little bit of bump right there, but managed to make the corner in the Alpha. Alpha very good in the corner, especially that corner 1. I really seem to like that corner in this car. And it gives me the opportunity to catch up there on fuel and pick up a position. So I'm in P10. And the group in front of me is getting a little bit racy. They get a little side by side, and I luck out as Outlaw Quadrant picks up a penalty. So I'm able to get a little closer to that group, and I really brake late there. Really try and make this corner hard. Come around under a second now. Get into the slipstream of the group in front of me. That is 7, 8, and 9. So 3 positions right there on lap number 10. So in a good spot. I look ahead, and it's quite a long way to P6. So I make the executive decision here to save a little more fuel. The Yanis comes down the inside. You can see we've got 11.1 laps left, and we're on lap number 10. So when I cross the line up here, I'm going to need 11 laps of fuel, because you have 11 plus 10 is 21, plus the lap you're on is 11. Look down the inside, almost pick up another penalty. I wasn't attempting to make a move or anything. I just wanted to see where the corner was coming up, because I was so close to his rear bumper. I almost went out a little too wide. Picked up another penalty, but I did not. So now I'm going to short shift the Alpha here. Well, not right there, but there we go. Shifted short there, and we're going to pick up a little more fuel. Going to try and build that fuel up. Ideally, I would like about 0.5, 0.6 extra laps of fuel for the last couple of laps. I can really push hard to try and get by or hold off anyone who might be around me. And we've got a pretty nice little group built up right here in P7 all the way through P11. So I know that there may be an opportunity some point later in the race that I might be able to get that P7, P8, even P9 position. You know, and that's certainly better than finishing in P11. But to do that, I got to drive smart and not pick up penalties and do the stupid things that I did in the first couple of laps. So as we entered the chicane here on lap 13, I cannot get it turned in. I'm like, what is going on with this Alpha? Now, you remember in the beginning of the race, I felt like it was a little squirrelier than normal. So as I'm coming around this corner, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, what is my brake balance on? And then I realized it was on 0 and not on 3 at the front, which is what I've been racing with all week long. Why it doesn't just stay at 3 to the front, I have no idea. It makes me nuts. But that problem is now solved, and I have a little more confidence on the chicane. Now we have 2 by 2, 2 deep. Going into turn 1, we got Blaze, and we've got Paymay up there along with Yanis and Outlaw, all fighting for a position, and I'm just hanging out back here, just being calm and collected and waiting for my fuel to come back up, as I've had to press on quite a few laps to catch back up after, again, making a few boneheaded decisions and, being helped towards making those boneheaded decisions. And a misstep here or there has caused me to, have to burn a little extra fuel in some spots. But not sitting too bad right now. It's lap number 15, 6.8 laps of fuel remain, and that's about what I need. As Yanis goes wide as he gets in the grass there, I pick up another Gretty pass and move up a spot into P10. So Yanis going wide there on corner number, coming out of corner number 4, heading towards corner number 5. Can't hold on to it, and he goes off into the infield. Pick up another spot. Now, there I am in the slipstream of Outlaw Quadrant. I am a little bit nervous with his distance to P8, but not too terrible. I'm wanting to, like I said, just build that fuel load up, and boy, that chicane felt so much better. I pick up another Gretty pass as Paymay missed his turn-in. I got to tell you, that turn-in was hard to see as we moved into the daylight hours. On to lap number 18, and I am feeling good. I've got A little extra fuel on board. As you can see, I'm just now crossing under the 4 laps remaining number. It pushed me about 4/10 or so above what I need to be. Going to do a little bump draft here on Outlaws Genesis, just trying to stay nice and in touch with Blaze's McLaren as we head through the chicane. I want a good exit here. I'm thinking about making that move right here, and well, I go wide and I don't get the left rear tire onto the yellow, and that means, you guessed it, a half-second penalty. Big boneheaded error there by old Gretty, which puts me 1.5 seconds down as we start lap number 19. Now you see that 0.4, 0.5 extra laps of fuel that I was trying to save will now have to be wasted on catching back up to the 2 in front of me, so that I can possibly make a move to pick up P7 or P8 before I run out of laps. So I got to get the head down, and I've got to put in a serious lap right here. There is no time to play around, because after this I've only got 2 laps left and 2 cars to try and get by. So hitting my apexes there, getting on the gas early at 1.2 seconds back as we head into the back straight. Drop it down in a second, clip the curbing there on corner number 5, and let it rip as I come out of corner number 6 into 5th gear, heading towards the chicane. I've now knocked it down to 1.03 seconds. I'm trying to have a good chicane. Wasn't the best ever, not my worst yet either. As I come out 1.64 seconds, I'm going to have to ring it out. As you see me banging the rev limiter there in 4th gear. Move into 5th, and I'm going to hold it here all the way up to 158, 159 miles an hour before I shift into 6th. And boy, that is just sucking down the fuel. But as you look, they're not pulling away from me. 10.52 seconds as I head towards corner number 1. Still have a little bit of extra fuel on board, so not the worst thing ever that I had to really kind of rev it out there. Able to pull into within 7/10 on Outlaws. He has a poor corner 1 and allows me to catch back up to the slip here on lap number 20. But a lot of work still left to do if I want to get in front of either of these 2 guys in the last 2 laps. Both very fast, both very skilled drivers. But I do feel like I have a bit of a car advantage on them. So I'm going to try and use it here in the infield, especially with the Alpha. Really seem to like to turn, go pretty darn fast. As you can see there is how it just rotates around that central axis where the engine is located, this MR car. Get on the gas here early. This is where I caught up to Outlaw earlier in the race. Was coming out of that corner. I knocked 2/10 off right there. Actually pulling a purple sector here on lap number 20. Coming out of the final corner, heading down towards the bus stop chicane. I need a good bus stop. If I'm going to make this pass on Outlaw and hope to have a chance to catch Blaze, I've got to get by him here. So I go a little wide through there, cut that nicely, get back on the throttle. Probably the best chicane I've had in the last 4 laps, and I needed it, as I am now catching up to Outlaw within 3/10 as we're heading out of the big banked left-hander. Got a really nice run, so I'm going to send it around the outside. Very difficult to do, as I've got to go a longer distance. Blaze moving out to the right, grab his slipstream there for just a second, able to edge by Outlaw quadrant, get by, make the move stick as we head into corner 1. Now I'm in Blaze's slipstream within 6/10, and as we come out of the corner, Outlaw loses the rear end just a little bit there, allowing me to pull out and away from him on this very crucial final lap here at Daytona. As we come out of the International Horseshoe, Blaze has a 5/10 advantage heading down towards corner number 3. I'm able to pull in now within 4/10. Get on the brakes into corner number 4. I take a nice narrow line. Blaze comes out a little wider, trying to get the better exit, but now I'm in that 3/10 range as we come in to corner number 5. Come out of there, roll 3rd gear, and trying to feel the rear tires, trying to get them to where they're just on the edge of grip as we're coming out of that corner into 4th and 5th gear. Blaze pulling a 10th on me out of that corner, but I've got the slipstream, so it's not going to be a problem as I'm pulling them in here now within 4/10 as we head towards the bus stop chicane. I still shift early, want to save as much fuel as possible. Want to make sure I have enough fuel to get to the finish line. I need a good bus stop chicane. So does Blaze. So we head into the bus stop chicane. It looks like an even match coming out, but you see right there, Blaze just loses that rear end just a little bit. Now I've got a pretty decent run on him, and he recognizes, he's looking at the differential. I'm pulling it in. He moves over to the right to try and break the slipstream, and I'm just holding fifth gear as long as I can. Grab sixth at 160, and I'm motoring on by around the outside. Blaze is going to send it down the inside, cut the distance as much as possible, but it's not going to be enough as I take P7 by only 0.06 of a second. Great race there with Blaze and Outlaw at the end. Enjoyed that. Picked up 263 points, which put me into third place for Alfa Romeo. Some good drivers there in Alfa. And third place on the friends list, getting edged out there by Blaze, but was able to sneak a few extra points on here in this race. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Apologies for the madness there I had at the beginning of the race. I was just seeing red, and well, that was an error that I'm going to try not to make again in the future. Hope you enjoyed the race. Hope you enjoyed all the action. If you did, hit the like and or subscribe. Come back, check out some more. For myself, Go Grady. Y'all have a great evening.